Friends, we have with us Mr. Anil Wanvari, CEO and founder of IndianTelevision.com, one of the beginners to bring the media on online portal. So, Mr. Wanvari, can you tell us how did the idea come to your mind? And
Well, I'm a biologist by qualification. I've done my master's in plant genetics, and I was supposed to do my PhD. I got admission into an American university, but they didn't offer me a scholarship. So my dad said, he told me, no, get a scholarship, you can go, because you can't go. So at that stage, I was adrift and I was wondering what to do, and I already had a penchant for writing. So at that stage, I was passing by Xavier's College, where they had the Xavier Institute of Communication. And there was an entrance exam going on. I was fascinated by news television. So, and I wanted to be a TV news journalist at that stage. So I went in, exam was over, 45 minutes of the entrance exam were over, there was some 20 minutes left. And nonetheless, I applied quickly, went and gave the exam, and I got through the exam and I got into the course. And I did the journalism course, and while I was doing my journalism course over there, I was also, started freelancing, started doing, passion is also photography, so I took pictures and I sold them to Indian Post in those days, and then, basically then, while I was studying, I applied to Business World magazine to work with them, and I applied to Motoring magazine first, worked with Manik Dawar, who currently runs Penta Multimedia Limited, and he was publishing a magazine for WIA, the Western India Automobile Association. I worked there, did a cover story, and then straight away applied to Business World. Then they asked for people in Bombay, and I worked with Jagannathan, who was the editor, Partha Swami, Sanjay Narayan, Debashis Basu, who wrote the book on the scam, and we worked all together. That was from 87, 88, I think it was, 87, 88 or 86, onward, 86, 87, and then I worked there till 94. When at that stage, there were some American publications which picked up my articles which I had written, and they told me to start writing for them. So I wrote for one called Market Asia Pacific. In some or the other, Peter Mukherjee was the CEO of Star TV then. Star TV was a very small company then in India. They had just set up shop. And Peter called me and he told me that there's a position available for an India correspondent for a publication based out of Hong Kong. So I wrote to them. They never got my mail, but then I started writing.
okay,
They wanted my CV. I didn't have a CV because I'd worked with Business World for 6 years. Though in the past I worked as a salesman for Eureka Forbes in the 80s. I worked as a radio jockey. I was probably amongst the youngest Asian Games tennis commentators in '82, and I was, and then I've also, I've been a cloth salesman. I used to take samples when I was in college of cloth, go to Mulchijeta market, go to shopkeepers in Ghatkopar, take orders, and go back to Mulchijeta market, roll the thans as they call them, because I wanted to get experience in life. So I worked with my cousin's shop in Mulchijeta market, and where it's like an open wholesale market where you sit on bolsters and you sit on mattresses, and people come in, they place orders.
okay,
And then you take a peti with you and you go to shopkeepers, you tell them ये नया माल है, नया sample है, आपको कितने मीटर का order दे दूँ मैं आपको कब से दे दूँ. And then I also worked with Eureka Forbes selling AquaGuard and Euroclean, the vacuum cleaner, for about 9 months. So while I was in college, and then I used to edit the magazine in college also. Plus I also used to dance professionally when I was in college, and which is professional theatre, which is then with Business World magazine where I stayed, where I covered every segment from marketing to management to investment bank into the investment section that we had, set up the management section, looked after the marketing and advertising section. Within 2.5 years I was chief sub-editor. I began as a sub, and I had told Jagannathan then that my heart is in business and my soul is in journalism. Tell me, what should I do? He told me, put your heart and soul together and do business journalism. So that's why I landed up in Business World, and then covered almost everything and became assistant editor in about 3.5 years. Probably, I don't know whether that's a record or one of the fastest or whatever, but I worked like a mad dog. I used to, whatever they asked me to do, I used to work on. I also used to take pictures at that time. So shot a cover photo of Dhirubhai Ambani, which came on the cover. shot a picture of the Maruti 1000 launch, which was again used on the cover, and pictures were used inside all the time because I always used to carry my camera with me. I enjoy doing photography. I still do that. I still have my camera with me right now also. I still take pictures. So then continued working internationally. My name spread in Asia, spread in Europe, in America, that I do understand the media sector well, and I should be a guy who should be leaned on for India stories. That means that time the Indian media story was opening because the economy had opened up in 1991. Investments were being, people were starting to see ZTV had started to become successful. Star had launched in Asia. So there was demand for information in India. ESPN launched, Discovery launched, all these channels started launching gradually. Some TV came in. So I started reporting on them for these publications. There was Cable and Satellite Asia, there was Television Business International out of London, there was Media Magazine out of London for which I wrote, there was Cable and Satellite Europe. So I used to write for them, and then Cable and Satellite Asia started a email newsletter which was focused on Asia, for which I used to contribute also. And then at that stage I said, I was traveling, I started traveling in Asia on my own, using my money, so that I could get to know more about developments a little before that in the world. I also wrote for World Executives Digest in the Philippines on management, IT. So went around in Asia, met all the CEOs, and in those days the headquarters were in Hong Kong, Singapore. So I dealt with all of them, built relationships with them, and then I came back and I started an email newsletter myself, for which India Today featured me way back, I don't know, 98, 99, and because it was the first opportunity. I ran the newsletter, sold it to people as an email newsletter, my views on the industry. At the same time I was writing columns for Financial Express and Business Standard. So they told me to write. And I wrote on the media and internet sector. And then I set up IndianTelevision.com. On how much did I spend? $50,000 or something. But I had bought a notebook computer in 93, I bought 94 was it, from Hong Kong. At that stage it was a 55,000 rupee investment.
What do you exactly do at IndianTelevision.com?
Yeah.
What are the services you provide?
Tons of services. I mean, we run information and news and developments, what's happening in the broadcast sector, cable sector, if acquisitions are happening, if somebody is being promoted, people movements, then if there is what's happening in the media and advertising world, we write about that. We write about regulatory things which are happening internationally and domestically. We interview players in the segment. That's under IndianTelevision.com. We also run conferences under that brand. One of the most famous ones is the India Digital Pay TV Summit, which is in its 6th year. And where we try to discuss with the industry as a whole, and all the players in the value chain come in, about the way forward as far as cable TV is concerned and DTH is concerned.
And which are the other websites under the arm of Indian Television?
IndianTelevision.com Private Limited is the mother company, and there's Telechecker.com, which is a hugely popular site for the broadcast, production, actor community, because it talks about what's happening on programs. But certain media people also get into it. It talks about what's happening in programs, what's happening with actors, what's happening with producers. So it is their vehicle which they log on to. Then there is RadioMusic.com, which caters to the vertical of radio and the music industry. So that, again, FM radio in India is a big segment, but it's not big enough. It's growing. It's going to grow in the future with Phase 3 coming in. And music industry has been shrinking thanks to the CD, sales dropping. But mobile and digital are expected to be the next. Mobile maybe yes, digital yes, a lot of growth will come thanks to those distribution mediums. So that caters to that. Then there is Teledost, which is a social network for TV fans.